there hasn't been any real Marvel news in weeks. In weeks. What's that? Two really obscure properties being developed as Sony Marvel movies? We're saved! That's right, everybody. The Illuminati is reporting that two very obscure Marvel properties are being developed over at Sony. Let's break it all down. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Seriously, guys, in times like these, you need to just take a couple of things really serious in your lives, and smashing like is definitely one of them. Do your part, smash like. No time to waste, folks. Actual Marvel news. It's literally been like a desert for movie news out there, obviously because of all the craziness going on in the world, but we finally have some actual Marvel news, and even though it's really weird, we've got to talk about it. So, coming right from the Illuminati, I'm going to read right from the article. It says here, the Illuminati has been tipped off to two Spider-Man spin-offs being plotted at Sony Pictures. Sony is firmly in a new phase of Spider-Man filmmaking. They have a new agreement and understanding with Marvel Studios over the rights to Spider-Man and the MCU's characters crossing the streams. They proved that they could make a superhero movie despite the absence of Spider-Man with Venom. The next spin-off film from Spidey's world is this year's Morbius, while the third Spider-Man film is prepping for international shoots. However, everything has been thrown up in the air over the past couple of weeks in Hollywood along with the rest of the world. Everything has been turned upside down. So, with that uncertainty in mind, we wanted to share some information that we've been sitting on for a few weeks. We have had a lot of luck with our sources over at Sony and Marvel of late. We were made aware of the direction of the Spider-Woman project. We were able to find out characters and story details for the Kraven the Hunter movie, and we were even able to catch a wind of executives behind the scenes desires to bring Jake Gyllenhaal back into the fold. Finally, at the beginning of the month, we were told about two other Spider-Man spin-offs that are in early stages of development. These products may expand our understanding of how big the scope of Sony's live-action Spider-Verse aspires to be. Typically, I don't like running a story without a visual or secondary confirmation. However, our sources have proven themselves, and with Hollywood coming to a halt and these projects being in the infancy stages of development, that second confirmation is certainly some time away. Moreover, with the recent speculation over Sony's mysterious future release dates, this information may help Marvelites to decode the future of the Spider-Verse. We certainly have enough time on our hands now, right? Come on, Illuminati, gotta remind us of that. Come on. Our source explained that Sony has two other lesser-known characters from Marvel Comics' world of Spider-Man, Solo and Man-Wolf. Actually, believe it or not, I know both of those characters from the comics. These are both in early stages of development at the studio. As far as we know, there isn't talent attached at this time, but they are on the conveyor belt of production that brought the equally improbable Morbius spin-off film to an unlikely reality. So let's talk about Solo first, right? Who is this Solo dude? He's kind of just a like Jason Bourne type dude. Like he's literally, his actual name is James Bourne in the comics. Like he's literally like a Jason Bourne sort of ripoff for Marvel Comics. And he technically appeared first in Web of Spider-Man number 19 in 1986. So therefore, he is owned by Sony. Wow, that's pretty ridiculous. Solo has barely been in comics, like barely been in Marvel Comics ever, but in 2016, they actually did try to relaunch Solo and give him his own mini-series, and I think it just lasted 5 issues or something like that, but I literally remember that free comic book day checking out that Solo comic book and being like, hey, this isn't bad, but like, who is this freaking guy? Now, Solo really doesn't have that many powers. He has this limited teleportation ability, which I don't even remember from the comics, to be completely frank, but apparently he can teleport for short distances. He's also just really great with weapons and hand-to-hand combat, just like you would think of Jason Bourne, the actual Bourne from those Bourne movies. And he has technically helped Spider-Man fight against the Sinister Six before in the comics. So how about Man-Wolf, right? Who the heck is Man-Wolf in the comic books? Well, he's a werewolf of sorts, and he is literally J. Jonah Jameson's son. That's right, John Jameson, the dude that in the comic books was an astronaut and brings back the Venom symbiote, was an astronaut in the comics. He didn't bring back the Venom symbiote in the comics, however. That comes from Secret Wars in the comics. But suffice it to say, they did some really weird shit with Jameson in the comics. There were two crazy things that he brings back from space. At one point, he has like these like spores in his body that are giving him like super strength. That gets like neutralized and he gets defeated by Spider-Man. By the way, he really doesn't like Spider-Man, and just like his dad, right? But then later on, it's discovered that he has this ruby or this gem that he brings back from the moon, which is like so ridiculous old Marvel comics. Homie brings some stuff back from the moon, doesn't tell anybody about it, and then begins wearing it, and it kind of infects him with this thing where when moonlight hits him, he turns into a freaking werewolf. Also, it's important to note he's not an actual werewolf. He's like this alien version of a werewolf, so he's not like susceptible to like silver or other things that hurt werewolves. It's a very wild thing, and Jameson actually has a couple of different crazy things that he becomes in the comics, including a thing called the Star God. And what's really crazy about this is as the Star God, Jameson actually gets the power to like hold that werewolf form, use different weapons, be very, very powerful, shift back and forth between his werewolf form and his regular form, and travel through different dimensions. Like, it's very crazy. Like, there's this whole place called Other Realm where basically the Star God or Jameson can have his own intelligence when he's in the werewolf body. So really crazy stuff. Man-Wolf and Solo. Very, very interesting. And it sort of hints, as they say in the Illuminati article, about what Sony's plans are. They're trying to really build out different heroes and villains and anti-heroes within that universe. They're going to go for their own Avengers type stuff. They're going to tell big, crazy crossover events, build up these different personalities, and do exactly what the MCU has done, but with their own flavor. Solo seems like a great character to be working from some kind of an organization with Spider-Man if they're going to go that route, sort of like a pseudo replacement for like Nick Fury or some other member of the Avengers that could be helping Spider-Man out. Solo will work for some kind of organization, maybe even S.H.I.E.L.D. still in Sony. We don't really know how that deal is going to work out, but as the Illuminati points out, Sony and Marvel definitely know how that deal is going to buff out. So with that knowledge in mind, they're able to sort of make these decisions and greenlight and work on production of these different films. And when it comes to Man-Wolf, I mean, there's opportunity for that character to cross over with Morbius. At one point, Morbius does make Man-Wolf turn into Man-Wolf again after Jameson has sort of gotten rid of the stone. And this was all just to kind of trick Spider-Man and try to get another cure. So there's that kind of through line, but with this space kind of stuff going on, the possibility of the Star God and all of that craziness happening, like, it's a potential, it's a franchise. It sounds like a franchise to me. This is all pretty wild. It's looking real weird over there in the Sony Marvel universe. So I'm bringing this news to you guys. I want to know what you think about this. Are you pumped? Do you think Solo as a Sony film could be awesome? Like James Bourne kind of, or Jason Bourne working with Spider-Man. You think that'll be super cool? And what do you think of Man-Wolf, a literal space alien werewolf that turns into a god kind of thing later on? Like, how's that gonna play? Are you excited to see that? Like, man, what, it's just so weird going on over there. And I'll say this real quick before we get out of here, I'm excited for these movies. I'd be way more down to see these movies than Spider-Woman. I still don't understand why Marvel and Sony are obsessed with Jessica Drew. Why does everyone want to make Jessica Drew movies? But of course, that's the news and my thoughts about it. I want to know what you think about this. Let us know in the comment section below. And now let's shout out Felix Ferreira. Indeed, George Tarleton was MODOK's real name. So shout out to you, Felix. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the real name of the Red Guardian? That's right, David Harbour's character for the upcoming Black Widow movie. I want to know, what is his real Russian name? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching this video. The Den of Nerds is independent media. If you want to support us, you can do something as simple as liking or sharing this video. If you want to financially support us, you can join the list of names you see below and become a supporter of us on Patreon. We also do live streams all week, Monday through Friday, over on our live streaming channel. Support independent media. Support the Den of Nerds.